welcome to Beautiful Subconscious. Today, I am so excited to introduce to you Tatum Brown. Tatum is a trailblazing marketing coach who has revolutionized the pet industry with her innovative strategies and unstoppable drive. Inspired by her own rescue dog, Winston, Tatum's journey has been nothing short of extraordinary, from hosting sellout events with brands like Netflix and Marie Claire to launching her signature money-making marketing program. Tatum has helped pet business owners achieve audience growth of 1,900% and revenue increases of 700% in just weeks. That is huge. But today we're diving beneath the surface of her success. In this episode, Tatum shares how kinesiology helped her uncover and navigate the personal challenges that were holding her back, from anxiety to vulnerability. Though she is a master at connecting with others in her work, Tatum opens up about how addressing her inner blocks is allowing her to embrace deeper, more authentic relationships with herself and those closest to her. Welcome, Tatum.
Oh, bless you, and thank you so much for that intro. Oh, my God. I need you in my back pocket just to make me feel good on my bad day.
Yes. Well, babe, it's all true. We just need that little hype up every once in a while. So you can always just listen back to this and be like, that is me. I am boss as anything.
That's exactly. And you know what? That's even what I say in my coaching group. Sometimes we just need those cheerleaders in our corner going, yeah, because we know what we need to do. Yeah. But sometimes it's the mind that stops us from doing that.
Exactly. We just can't hear it through the fog and through the interference. Which is what we're going to be talking about today. So this episode in particular, I'm very excited because Tatum had tried a kinesiology session. She was with me only just a week ago, and it was in service of getting an in-person site to shifting out of functional freeze into freedom. So I'm excited to really jump into that and dive into that. However, before we do, as always, it is tradition to pull a intention card for this episode. So, my queen, when you're ready, can you tell me when to start? We will pull a card.
And now.
Nice. Oh, so this intention card, so whenever you hear it, and as the basis of this episode, I always make the right decisions.
Oh, I wish that was true. But yes, we'll go with that. We will go with that. Maybe not in my dating field, but yes, we'll go with that.
But that's the thing, are they not? Are they not right on some level? I mean, we can ponder that, but
yeah. Maybe I'm self-sabotaging, or maybe, I don't know, like people are just filled with red flags these days.
Maybe it's the Mr. Right Now decision. I don't know.
Oh, I tell you, yeah. That's probably where I'm at. Just like business is going so well that I'm just like, I would like to spin it on its head and just have someone for company, because I can't deal with the drama that these men are bringing.
Oh my God, it's true. It really is true. So on some level then, you are making the right decisions with what you need at that time.
Yes, that's exactly it.
Shit, my God. Feel you. All right. Well, I'm so excited to share this. So I guess giving everyone the rundown, obviously you are such a powerhouse in your field. So I was very excited to, share kinesiology with you. We connected on a business retreat that we were at. We were grouped at the same tables. And, I love working with women like you and women like us, where there are areas of our lives that we feel quite excelled in. And there's other areas that we're just like, oh, what are the blind spots there? What's going on there? So it's always really nice that we experience new things, because I think we can be so driven and have particular ways of doing things in other areas that create success and create results. But sometimes that doesn't template across to other areas of our lives. And we're like, damn it. What is the deal?
Yeah.
So I would love to just, I guess, first ask you what your thoughts of kinesiology was before you had started it or experienced it.
So I'm a bit of a woo-woo delulu girl.
Oh.
Like I feel like everyone in business that wants to be successful is like, you have to be delusional, like a little bit delusional to believe that these like far out things can happen to you, right? Personally, professionally, whatever it is. So I didn't know a lot about kinesiology. Like that's transparency. Like I didn't know, but I know in recent years, well, backstory, I've been, I've struggled with my mental health like for so long that I've been on antidepressants, anti-anxiety, like things to help me sleep, all of that not so fabulous stuff that I'm putting into my body. And only a couple of years ago, when I really started taking my business seriously and I started networking, connecting with people like yourself, I was like, hang on, there's a different way about this. Like there's a natural route. And so I started learning about it. And then obviously we connected on the retreat. And so still going in, I didn't know what to expect. And I think I told you at the time I was coming off my antidepressants, which, I'm still doing that.
Yeah.
But I think everything happens for a reason. And so when we were connected with that session, it was really insightful. Like it was really insightful. And it's funny, like what we did in the session, what you said in the session, it just had connected to things that were like subconsciously on my mind already. And it just brought those to life and actually, rather than just pondering them, made me actually put some things into action after our session. So.
Oh, I love. Well, see, that was the thing, right? When we were talking, when we were connecting, what I loved about you is just like, yeah, these are like, I am taking antidepressants and all these things. And gosh, it's so common. Like it's very common for so many women, men, all the things. And I'm just like, great, because it gets me so excited because I'm like, oh, there's a person here that is right in front of me that is ready and willing to hear something different that's out of what we are so used to conventionally being, presented with. And like many of us, we've been presented with, hey, take this. It'll help. Absolutely. It will help temporarily. I have no doubt about that. But it's just like, but how long do you do that for? Like, how long is that going to be your norm for? Like, how is that going to be the long for anyone? And that's okay with whatever anyone decides. But if they're wanting to decide something different, like they're wanting to get to the root of it, so they're not needing to, in inverted commas, give their power over to medication for the rest of however long, then this is a beautiful option.
Yeah, 100%. I've been on, like, I think we were discussing it. I really need to just sit down and do the math, but I've been on antidepressants like in and out my whole life. I'm 38 and at least this particular medication I've been on like full throttle for 5 years. And to be honest, I kind of got to a point where I was like, well, I don't actually have depression. It's anxiety, if anything, which I know I can control. Well, not control, but I can reduce through, breath work or natural remedies, whether that be like medication, breath work, ice baths, exercise, like all of that stuff. Food intake, cutting down, on alcohol. And so I knew that was out there. But yeah, so I didn't know. I got to a point where I'm like, I don't even know, A, if I need it, or B, if it's working. But the idea of coming off it is, if I didn't have my tablet for 24 hours, I would start to feel like wooey, like just like a bit sick. And then I remember at stages where I'd forgotten to refill my script and I couldn't. And it was like I was an addict coming off something, like just for that, like, 2 or 3 days. Like I was sick, I was abusive.
I can understand that.
This is not a fix. This is a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
And it's actually creating worse problems. So I was actually really nervous about coming off the antidepressants, which worked in really well with my session.
Yeah.
Because I think just having that space with you and connecting on that level, and then, we'll go into it, but having a cry and writing some things I might need to work on, or giving me some takeaways. Yeah, it was really helpful.
Oh, well, I mean, but like, let's take a second to really acknowledge that you've just come off something that you've been on for most of your life, and especially the last 5 years more intently. So that is huge. So congratulations to you, babe. That is massive. So that is no easy feat, and you're doing it. You are absolutely doing it. So congrats.
Yeah. Oh, you're giving me that. Because anyone that is on antidepressants probably freaks out coming off it, because it does give you those side effects when you're coming off it. And it's just so thank you.
Oh, my absolute pleasure. It's huge. It really is. It is scary as anything.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, my gosh, I get that. So I guess let's dive into what we sort of drew up and out within your session. So a lot of what we started with was there was a lot of functional freeze state that you were moving through, or like that would show up in your world. Can you just explain what that was like for you in your personal and professional life?
Yeah, so I think a lot of us driven, highly performing business owners, or just people out there, we I think in 2024 there's so much like ADHD stuff, and so we just, well, you know, like that's thrown around a lot. I'm not diagnosed. I might have it. Who knows? But we make these continuous, continuous jokes about it. That it's like, well, even if we were diagnosed, there is something that can help us out there, which is, you know, like your natural, like there's drugs, medications, I should say, totally fine. But then there's other ways of dealing with it, and so I always was like, oh, yeah, I just get in this, like, ADHD freeze where I can be so hyper-focused. I can be a boss bitch for, like, weeks on end, and then all of a sudden I go into freeze. And it's just like, and I end up in bed for, like, a couple of days. And I'm still working, but it's like I just want to hide away from everyone, everything. I'm still coaching, but, you know, I don't have that, my personality to me. It's like that's taken away. I don't, So that's what happens to me when I get in that freeze, and it's like I just don't want to. I don't even want to go outside my house. Like I just want to shut everything.
I get that. It's so relatable. So many women would experience that, and men.
And it's so frustrating because then you beat yourself up because you're like, I'm not this person. What are you doing? Oh. You've got shit to do. You're a high performer. You've got money to make. You've got people to serve.
Yes.
So that's why I was like, can you help me with this? Because I just, it's really frustrating, and I don't want to just like continuously pass it off as a joke. Like, oh, it's just ADHD symptoms, and we laugh about it, you know, between us all. Yeah. But then we're not actually doing anything about it, you know, like when we are in a good state, because I think that's when we need to look into it, not just go, oh, well, we don't feel like that. So that's a later problem.
Yeah. And it's hard when you're in it too. It's like, you know, you're in it and you're just like, I'm just literally getting by and doing as much as the energy that I've got and the capacity that I can hold can, achieve right now. So and it's hard when you're in it. You're just like, oh shit. And you know, on some level you're going to move to the other side of it, and you're going to hopefully get to that other, you know, that other side where you're that high performer again. Maybe the capacity keeps chipping away each and every time. The more that we don't address it, we don't know. But at the time it's really, really challenging. So we can definitely, so many people can relate to that functional freeze state.
Yeah. And it bloody comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Sometimes at the most inconvenient times when you've got, you know, all this stuff happening and you're on such a high and you're winning, and then you just wake up one morning and you're in this completely different mindset.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know? And how long is it going to last for? Like, is it going to last a day? Is it going to last 2 days? Is it going to last like a couple of weeks? You know,
exactly. You never know. But I mean, it does feel like it's out of nowhere. But at the same time, when we're always running at that high performance level, day after day, up, and like got that hyper focus, like every engine is on, like everything is spinning at its like capacity. So to be on that go and the drive and that gusto to back it, something's got to give with that at times. So if we don't realize that we need to rest in those moments where it's day after day of pushing, then it may seem like it's come out of nowhere, but then it also makes sense when all of a sudden we just crash and we're just like, I can't, I'm done. And yes, it's usually at those inconvenient times. And I'm like, I just need to get so much more done. And then we can chill. Then we can chill. I promise.
Exactly. It's Black Friday, Christmas, Black Friday. Like, it's the biggest sales period of the year with my coaching clients, and for me as well. Like, and we got to go hard. And it's just like, please don't wake up tomorrow. Like, just a couple more weeks, please.
Then we can crash as much as you need to. Christmas is here. It's true. It's absolutely true. So, I mean, so many people can relate to that. So during our session, you know, you were so incredible with the way that your body was so receptive to it. For something you hadn't done before, you just came with that openness and that willingness to be curious and had no expectations. And I say that with love, because it's just like when you're trying to expect what your body is going to show, it can not block it, but the way that you were just so open was epic. So, you know, during the session, your body guided us to some deeply held emotions, especially in and around connected to your mum. So what was that like when you started to surface up those areas?
I think I'm a pretty transparent person, but that doesn't mean I'm vulnerable.
I get that. Totally.
I feel like there's a difference there. I'm transparent. I'm an oversharer, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm not vulnerable. So when it comes to asking for help, I'm not good at that. When it comes to crying in front of people, not good at that. Yeah. When it comes to calling a friend because I'm not in a good space, not good at that. Yeah. So it was tough for me, but you were amazing. And just like the sound of your voice, I swear to God, like, so anyone listening to this podcast right now, like, knows what I'm talking about. It's such a soothing, like, space. It's like, can you be my mum? Not me, way. It's just nice because I do have a lot. How can I say it? Roadblocks around my mum. Like there is a bit of trauma there.
Totally, I get that. Me too.
Yeah, my mum means the best. She's a beautiful woman. Like she was a good mum to the extent that she could be, totally. But she doesn't have that nurturing side. So it was always like we had to learn to self-soothe, and we had to not talk about our emotions, or if we did, it was an explosion, and then it was like we acted like nothing happened. And so I think as an adult, it blocks my ability to lean on other people.
Absolutely.
I feel embarrassed, or I feel ashamed, or it feels uncomfortable.
Well, it makes sense. I mean, with that being said, like, when had experienced at such habits and belief structures are already formed by the age of 7-ish. And so it's not saying that they're the only belief structures. We know that we can rewrite them now, but it just takes looking in and diving in and doing the work. However, if that's what was exposed at that time. And the thing is with this work, and I can totally resonate, like, it's not about throwing mum, dad, siblings under the bus. It's just like, whatever, they did their best in the tools that they had available, but this is work for me to work out what's going on for me, and the way that behavior or those exchanges felt for me was tough. It was painful. And now I want to find different ways in being able to approach. But if that had always been the blueprint of communication, that we're not allowed to talk about our feelings, or if it does, it's going to be an explosive argument, then it's no wonder then that's rippling and affecting your adult life. Because if I want to share how I'm feeling and really lean on someone, the story and narrative I've got playing out subconsciously is it's going to be confrontational, and it's going to be unsupportive, then of course you're naturally not going to do that.
Yeah. And burdening people as well. Like, I don't want to burden people. Yeah. And so even today, like, even if I do reach out to a friend, which it takes me like a lot of guts to, but I do. So I live in Bali and I'm here by myself. So sometimes I'm like, Tatum, no, you really need to reach out to someone because you're not in a good space. And I find myself even by the end of it going, oh, enough about me, but like, tell me about you. And I don't have that capacity to hear about them at the moment, at that moment, because I'm literally in like a place, like a dark place. Yeah. But I still find myself doing that. And then I have to put a front on to then be like, oh yeah, okay, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, that's like, and then I have to like move into that supporter role. And it's like, but I'm not, but I still find myself doing that, which is like, oh, it's like what? Because I feel guilty that I've just had to like lean on someone. It's such
a strong emotion, guilt, that we all hold. Like, I think it's very common for us to, be like, okay, I have reached the capacity that I feel that I'm worthy of asking from somebody, because now I feel like they're going to either reject me, abandon me, push me away. And it's not anything that you're consciously thinking of, but it's just playing out in the background there. So therefore, my coping mechanism that I've constructed is I better ask about them and give the attention back to them. I've reached my limit of what I'm allowed to have, the love that I'm allowed to have, the space that I'm allowed to have, right? And so now I've got to give that back, even though I have absolutely nothing to give right now, because I'm just not in that capacity. And to own that authentic space is a threat. It can feel threatening.
Yeah. It's not fun.
Hello, lovely listeners. Our Total Life Transformation Program is live. If you feel stuck in your health, career, relationships, or money, this is the chance for a complete revamp. Over 6 months, you'll experience powerful changes that will transform every part of your life. With the guidance of 5 specialists, so yours truly, a kinesiologist, money mentor, functional health practitioner, career advisor, and our relationship coach, we address 4 key life pillars: your health, your career, your money, and your relationships. One investment shifts you from feeling low-key, unfulfilled to fully energized and inspired in every area of your life. Health. If stress, emotional baggage, or unhealthy habits drain you, we will help release what's in your subconscious and create a personalized nutrition and supplement plan to reset your energy and health. Career. If you feel lost or stuck in your career, our kinesiologist and career mentor provide clarity, confidence, and an action plan to move forward with purpose. Money. If scarcity or fear around money keeps you stuck, we heal your financial blueprint. With our money mentor, you will gain practical strategies to confidently manage your finances for life. And relationships. If disconnection in your relationships leave you feeling unseen, we heal emotional wounds, leading to deeper connection, trust, and love. Now it's time to create your extraordinary life. So book your clarity call now for our total life transformation program, because it is live and waiting for you.
You were very supportive the other day, and it was like one of those times where I was like, okay, no, I'm allowed to have a cry, and then like go into this a little bit further.
Yes, I love that.
Like I needed it. And like you said, you were like, it's okay to cry, like it's just energy passing through you at the moment.
Totally.
And it is. And I think that's obviously why, after the end of the cry, like you're a bit exhausted. You're a bit like,
Yeah. Totally. Because for one, you've allowed to let go of the things that have been suppressed and buried down for so long. And that takes energy to hold that, by the way. It's not a conscious thing again, but like we're holding these suppressed emotions, suppressed experiences, these beliefs that if I share that, that's going to be a burden to someone else. So that alone takes so much energy to keep barricaded from. But at the same time, the fear and the resistance of finally letting it out, like it's just like you're going against every grain in the body to let that out. But when you finally do, it's just like everything's just like, okay, shit, done. And so you do go on this energetic boot camp with kinesiology of just like going in, finding out what you've, got, protecting yourself from and letting yourself experience that. But it's not as easy as that, right? But it is energy moving at the same time.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, I love. So then, so we said that you felt exhausted and to be able to experience some tears was a beautiful purge for you. What did that feel like after the session for you?
I felt tired. I was on my way to the gym though.
Yeah.
And it was actually really good timing because through our session you were like, I want you to, it's affirmation. Right. Yeah. Recite these affirmations, which is like, I am love, because obviously I've got some issues around not being lovable and not, deserving love and things like that.
Yeah.
And we located where that was in my body, which is funny because, again, I'm sure we'll go into it, but it linked up with things that were already going on in my head, like pain, and so it was really
Well, let's link it. Like, how do you know? Tell me how was that from your end?
So I came to, and because I'm a workhorse, that means I'm sitting at my desk like most of the time, right? I'm always sitting down, which means my hips are always like, oh my God, like they're so sore. Like I roll over in bed, I put my leg up in bed, like it's like painful, and I have to like. I'm only 38. I shouldn't be experiencing this, but like I have to like move over slowly because I get these bursts of pain in my hip. And I went to the chiropractor the other day, and they worked on my hips like before we met, but it didn't really do anything. Like I didn't feel like they were hitting the spot when they were working on my hips. They're like, oh, is it there? Is it there? I'm like, no. And I couldn't really. I just kind of gave up trying to like locate it because I was confused as they were.
Yeah.
And then. In our session, you mentioned that I had stored emotions in my thighs, like on my quads.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, yes, tight quads, tight hips, like it makes sense, right? And it's probably one of the less muscles that I stretch because I'm always focused on my hip flexors or my glutes or my back. And I'm like, oh yeah, it must be one of those. And then not long before we were talking, I was looking into, I was like, oh yeah, maybe my thighs or whatever. And it just kind of like the thought drifted off because I was, Googling self-diagnosis.
Yeah, of course.
And then you mentioned that. And I was like, oh my God, there's something in that.
Yeah.
And so we obviously did that exercise of trying to remove, kind of some of that, would you say energy, built up energy, stored energy there or trauma. So we removed that. And then you said, now I want you to kind of replenish that with like, I am love when you're doing exercise, because as you exercise, you're moving energy. So we're putting that new energy into your body, which I thought was really cool. So I actually continue to do that now. Every time it's and it feels good. And again, a bit delulu. I don't know if this is happening or not, but usually I walk around the gym like in my own world, headphones on, cap on. Like I try to minimize myself almost in the gym, and especially here in Bali, like the women at the gyms are like, oh my God, right? So I try and minimize myself because sometimes I struggle with that self-love, right?
Right.
So I found myself kind of like a bit strutting around and like owning my body and like
owning your space,
right? Owning my space, yes, owning that space that I'm in. And you start to get looks off people. Yeah. And they could have been there before, but I was too busy, like blinders on. But now I'm almost like receptive of that. So it's funny that it's connected to the I am not lovable, I lack love, all of that stuff. But maybe I just wasn't letting it in before. And now that I'm starting to let it in, I'm starting to see like different other opportunities.
Totally.
A bit of a I flirt in the gym.
Love is love, babes.
It opens you up because I'm just so sick of Tinder. So I'm like, if I can meet someone in person, brilliant, right? So if I can meet someone at the gym, amazing.
Yes.
So, it's letting me own my space a little bit more.
I love that because everything is so, like you said, like you just said, you took the words out of my mouth. Everything is so connected, like attracts like. So when you had shifted what was literally blocking you on a physical level, which was creating pain in your hips, which was creating pain and aches in your bodies, when you shifted that on an emotional level, whatever the tie-ins with the trauma and the emotions that we had moved through within your relationship to love and feeling loved. And then when you were able to now, because our muscles hold our emotions, energy and motion, as you probably have heard. And when we train our muscles to hold that integrity of I am lovable, I love and I am lovable, or I can be loved, it starts to then just change the integrity of what energy you emit out. And then like attracts like, that energy that you're putting out, whether you're conscious of it or not, but you are, because you're sensing it. You're feeling like you're taking up that space that you deserve and that is yours, and that is, you're exuding this level of self-love and it's being receptive back in your external world. And that's what this is. Energy attracts energy, whether it's through polarity or whether it's through like the like. So I love that.
Yeah. It's so, and you're so right. Like, and anyone listening to this that isn't aware of like that, I mean, you're more over this than me, but I read my therapist once told me to read The Body Keeps Score. And until I read that, I didn't make it all the way through because it's very like some of those words, heavy. I was like,
it's a big book. It's
heavy, right? But I realized that your body actually stores trauma and it changes your cells. So this whole energy thing is scientifically proven.
Totally.
Like, it's real. It's not woo-delulu stuff that people kind of claim it to be and therefore resort to medication or, other things.
Yeah.
And it's like, why are we not trying more of this stuff?
Exactly.
Like when we learn about it and we bring the what is it? The judgmentalness. That's not even the word. But when we remove all of that, it's like, well, actually,
there's truth for sure.
Yeah, and I think living in Bali, I have been more open to it. I mean, I went through a terrible breakup a couple of years ago, and that's when I moved to Bali, and I really got open to natural therapy because you're surrounded by it here. Like it's a different. Everyone's very health conscious. They're working on themselves. There's lots of entrepreneurs here.
Yeah. They're so much more open-minded, I think, in other ways other than conventional.
Exactly. And you bring all these like foreigners into Bali that are from around the world, right? But it's like we're all connected because Bali is such a peaceful, soulful place. It's a happy place.
Very special.
Like, honestly, you don't have I have the stresses of my life, but you don't really have stresses here. Like it's just, you just go about life, which is a really amazing feeling. And I think that's why I was so open to it. And I just feel like maybe sometimes, Australia and other countries, we're so set in our ways of modern medicine, don't think forward.
Yeah, totally. Like there is a place for the Western science, like you say, but also I think like having the Eastern medicine and the Eastern, I guess mythologies and combining them both is a really powerful space. And that's what I try to really advocate for, because it's not one or the other. You need both, but it's just like there is still a science to this work. Like at the very root of our cells is, there's a molecular makeup and then there's an energetic, and you need both of them together. So the molecules can't communicate to each other without an indivisible, although invisible, sort of source behind them to then recreate. So when there's stress and there's trauma that the body experiences, it does have an effect on the cells on a cellular level, which then gets regenerated. This trauma gets regenerated on a cellular level. So we then still continue to carry that baggage from mum, dad, auntie, history until we decide to look at it on a cellular level, but even beyond that on an energetic level, because energy comes before the cells, comes before the matter. And then you can start to really rewire the cells to be something that's more in alignment to who you actually are and what you actually deserve. And there's truth to it.
Yeah. Because if you think about it, like we drive to work every day and we go the same route every single day, right? Yeah. So we're not like that's just easy. We're on autopilot. So totally. I guess when our bodies are in states of trauma, we're used to feeling like that. So it's easier to stay like that.
Oh, yes.
It's not, but we think that.
Yeah.
So sometimes we do have to step outside doing things that we would normally do that make us a little bit uncomfortable because our body's changing.
Absolutely. Well, what you said there is perfect in that whole landscape of our mind. Like our minds have myelinated these paths and these neural pathways of thinking the same thoughts. It's a familiar hell, even though it doesn't make me happy, but I just know this route with my eyes closed, so I can just do that. So to then jump off that path and start to brick by brick lay out a new one, it's a lot more effort, but you're like, that can get me to where I want to be, and actually where I want to be, a lot more quicker. And but it takes a lot of work and it takes a lot of effort until it just becomes the norm. So I love that.
And I think in 2024, and probably the Tinder has been an influence of this, but people like convenience, they like easy. And so they think if it's not convenient or not easy, they don't want to touch it.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, the hard work, it's like freaking business. The hard work pays off.
Yeah.
Right? Like the hard work, the long hours when we're starting our businesses, the networking, the social battery dying, like the investing financially into things, like all of that, it's worth it, right?
Yeah.
It's not all easy, but then I just had my biggest cash month, or my biggest month in business last November. And
Congrats, honey. Yes.
And I'm set to do it this month again. And it's like, it didn't come overnight. It came with a lot of resiliency. It came with doing the work to change. Because I started my business with $10, right?
Yeah, wow.
I was so broke. My fiance had broken up with me. He then went on my honeymoon with his new girlfriend, who he's now engaged with. Very happy for it. But was not cool at the time.
That was not the best move.
That ever happened to me though. So I still have love. Like I'm sending him love and all of that stuff. Because
when you've healed.
Yeah. I'm so thankful it went down the way it did, because I got sick of my own shit, and that's how I created my own business.
Yes.
But it takes change. It takes I'm not the person I am today. I was not that woman 2-3 years ago. I was broken, I was miserable, I was all sorts of broke, so it takes work, and it doesn't happen overnight. I'm just in my prime, I'm in my prime 3 years later, and at that prime is gonna be even better in a year.
It's just on the beginning. Yeah, it's just getting started. It's just going to catapult.
But if I had have chosen easy, I'd still be stuck, depressed, lonely, not fulfilled, no purpose.
And that being the norm. And I think what you've just said is a perfect example of it on a macro scale, but it happens in a micro scale too. If people want to have the life that they want, business could be a very, very viable option for them. We advocate for it for sure.
Yeah.
We definitely do. And when we realize that it does take a lot of work, it does take a lot of backing yourself, it does take a lot of sweat and tears multiple times throughout a week possibly.
Yeah. Yes.
You are literally doing what Tatum just said in terms of you're changing the path of your brain. Like we are so conditioned to think like we got to get a 9 to 5. You got to work those 50 years. You got to get your super up and then you can have a good life from 65 onwards and do some travel when you got a sore broken hip. But so to go against that norm, which is that same brain, you know, that same path neurologically on a societal level, like, hey, that's just the norm. Like, it takes a lot of effort to go against that and formulate what doesn't seem like the norm, which seems delusional, which seems crazy, of going down the line of creating a business and paving that path. Even if you trip on that path, you keep paving that path, and it takes a lot of work. But it's like that same sort of what plays out in our minds plays out in a bigger scale. Does that make sense?
Yes, it totally does. It really does.
Yeah.
It really does.
And
that's where, like, you know, alternative or Eastern I still don't even know what it's called. Eastern medication.
Yeah, Eastern medicine, you're right. Yeah.
Thank you. That's where I think that can come into play as well, as investing in those things and feeling uncomfortable and going, oh, this is a bit woo-woo. Oh, this is a bit strange. Or, is it working? I'm talking to the universe. I am feeling my muscles. I love them. Like, it feels weird to start with.
Totally.
Am I one of those people that, like, maybe I used to poke fun at as a kid because I didn't?
1,000% I would be. This was not the life I was living 10 years ago.
And the more you move into it, the more you're like, well, screw what anyone thinks, because it's working for me. Like, even money manifestation, I've started, like, pushing that to my coaching group. We just had Black Friday, which was like one of the biggest sales period, and 3 of the business in there had been operating for more than 5 years, and they had their biggest sales period ever in their business.
I love that.
But then there's obviously the other side of that, where you get businesses within the group as well going, oh, I just didn't feel like I did enough, or I didn't earn as much as I wanted to. And that can be because we moved the goalpost, or we think a certain level is going to make us happy and things like that. And we do have goals, and keep shooting for those. But I started going, go and listen to money manifestation affirmations, because that gets you in a better headset. If you're trying to make money and you're doubting yourself, you're not feeling like yourself, you're struggling to show up, you don't know what content to put out there to make the sales, all of that, it comes through with everything that you do.
Yes.
And like, it just feels awkward and icky and all of that. So I'm like, if you're feeling that way and you want to push to go harder, go get your mindset on a better frequency, like you said, a better energy level, and then start the day again.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because what we don't realize, we can't even conceptualize how powerful hearing those things on repeat on an unconscious, subconscious, conscious level of the money that you want to make. You are worthy of making it. You're worthy of success, and all those things that can be throwaway words, and people that aren't hearing it yet or at a capacity to hear it yet will be like, that sounds like BS. But until you're in that space where you're like, I really hear that now, and every part of me has got goosebumps, it's like, that's what I need right now. And you'll only know it when you know it.
Talking about it right now.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so I'm a business owner. I'm a coach, but it doesn't make me resilient to mindset screw up, like, you know, like.
Totally. Even being in this industry, like, you know, of the mind and the subconscious mind, it's still work. It's still work on the human in me.
Exactly. Yeah. So I had a Black Friday promotion for my coaching group, and I did a VIP list, and I had like 16 people, and I sent them early access and a little bit of a higher discount, and no one purchased. And I was like, okay, I'm the marketing coach. Like, what did I do wrong? This is shit. I'm shit. No one wants to be in my coaching program. Maybe I'm not good enough. I started comparing myself to other people in the industry, blah, 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 all of that stuff. Even though I had just come off the back of these businesses reporting their highest days.
Exactly.
Right. So there's proof there, right? Yeah. But my mindset's like, because I didn't get that instant gratification of somebody signing up and me being able to help them, I went into a spiral, and I was like, and then I had to make content, right, to promote it for the next 4 days. And I was like, this isn't happening. And so I did my money manifestation affirmations, and I got honestly, that's how I got my biggest. I love
that. It's real.
And these people, and this is the thing, these people that were on the VIP list, I think I got a 40% conversion rate off that list, which was awesome. In the end, But because it wasn't on the timeline that I had in my head, I was like, I'm a failure, I'm this, and I'm that. And so I went and got myself in a better space. And I was like, okay, well, like, let's go. Like, we've still got time. And what if I don't get the people that I want, like, in the group? Is that the end of it? Does that take away? Like, this.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, so I think that really helped shift my mindset. And then when I was at the gym, like, people are going to book in and blah, blah, blah. And then they just kept, like, popping out. And people I didn't even know were interested started just, like I'd get a notification. Congratulations, you have a new student. I'm like, shit.
Amazing. Yes.
I feel like when you get on that frequency and you G yourself up and that energy's going and, like, but I wasn't there 24 hours before. I had to get myself into that state because we don't live in that state. Like, we're not God. We're not, we're not perfect. We have shit going on in our minds.
Well, we know this. We've heard this so often. Every level is going to present a different devil. So as much as we're aiming for the stars, is going to be the fear that's holding us back a little bit, just being like, but is this safe? But I need to just say that, are we worthy enough? And it's just like, it'll have this little internal battle, but we know that the truth of that is it is a level of illusion that we don't have to listen to. And it takes a second to be like, all right, I hear you. And I'm going I'm going to choose to focus my intention and my attention on a completely different thing of I am worthy. This is going to support people. I'm worthy of this amount of money. I'm worthy of but also my worth doesn't depend on should they sign up or not. Either way, regardless, I'm worthy. I'm here to serve. I'm here to help. I'm here to live the best, most abundant life possible.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. Because there's so many factors when it comes to people buying from you or using your services or products or whatever. Like, there's so many factors, right?
Totally.
I don't want to be one of those marketing gurus. It's like, if you just get your messaging right, then everything will come. Like, you'll have a flood of people. That's not how business works, even for the big guys. Like, let's be real. It's not. They only show you the big wins and you have no idea of what they've done, what money they've put into the marketing, how many people are involved in that, what their background is professionally, personally, who they know, who their networks are. Like, so much freaking stuff.
So many things, yes.
Social media, it's smoke and mirrors all of the time. So are they being honest? So that whole comparison is just... And I think when we get those like, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm not lovable enough, or, no one's buying my product or whatever, look at what facts are in that.
Yeah.
What facts are in that? And are you just basing it off sales? Are you basing it off, like, why don't you base it off how many people you've connected with? Or how, are you doing better this time this year than last year? Like, look at other stuff. Like,
yeah. What do you want to measure? Exactly. There's always things that you can measure that will give you that opposite sort of confirmation. You just got to look for them.
Yeah, because our brains are programmed to basically prove us right in the thing. So if we're going, we're getting every red light, we start looking for red lights, right?
Exactly.
And we're like, another red light.
Yeah, exactly.
Green light. We're like, another green light.
Totally. You are absolutely right.
Our brains can be little devils for us.
They are just little tricksters. So we're just going to learn how to work with them. We'll be like, all right, little trickster, you want to play some games? Let's play them together. Let's play.
I got you.
Yeah, exactly. Well, babe, thank you for our time that we've shared. Thank you for being on this experience with me. It was a privilege to share kinesiology with you. It was just, I loved when we connected on our retreat and I was like, I want to be able to, I don't know, see what this opens up into in terms of, I just knew I just wanted to share some space with you. So it's been awesome.
It's been an honor, being on your podcast and obviously just even connecting with you as a bloody human. Like,
I know, totally.
And it's incredible. And I just feel like everything happens for a reason and you meet people you're supposed to and We came into each other's life at a good time.
At the perfect time. I trust in that always. And I'm like, yeah, your vibe, I'm just like, I absolutely adore. So thank you. We could talk for hours, and this isn't going to be our last episode. I feel like there's more episodes of the Tatum and Shell in 2020 Thrive.
I like that.
Yeah, I've been using that one. I thought I'd throw that to my marketing guru. 2020 Thrive is what this is going to be.
Do it. That could be a whole campaign for you.
Yeah. I love. All right. Well, better wrap this up for this week. But yeah, if you have found this episode to be beneficial, if it's pepped you up, if it's opened up and got some curiosity, please reach out. We are here to support, whether it's through business. Please hit up Tatum. She's a guru at all her things, marketing and just a good soul to have in your corner. But also, if you're curious on kinesiology and what blocks you may be having, that obviously they're blind spots you just can't access, let me know. DM me and we can chat further. So again, babe, thank you for being on this episode.
Thank you for having me.
Pleasure. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Audience exclusive.